All right, what's up, everybody? We're live Thursday. Market Movers here with Justin Perri. We got some early baseball games. This first pitch is about to happen in the Rays-Orioles game. But first, how you doing this afternoon? Everything good?
I'm doing real well. I got some cool stuff going on behind the scenes. Working on some cool new projects. Very excited about the baseball slate. Had arguably one of the craziest days betting I've ever had. I think everyone knows that I don't really play many parlays. We kind of make fun of parlays on this show every day by playing the donkey of the day. But anyone who played it knows it hit yesterday. We hit another one. We've given it out 4 times and it's hit twice, up about 8 units on 4 different plays on parlays, which, I mean, that's kind of how we knew it was going to go. We were going to make fun of parlays and we were going to win. But look, I'm playing them small, but I played a couple other ones because I was like feeling it, and I hit some big bets last night. So I'm in a great place, riding high. Going to be smart and not like try again. I'm going to take my winnings, put them in my pocket. But I'm very interested to see how today goes. I think it's another relatively on-market day. But we had another great day on the show yesterday with our results.
Yeah, definitely. Nice to see that the Boston call. I was all over Boston. Ended up pushing it to the total thanks to their I thought we were going to tilt like crazy, though. They got 7 runs in 2 innings, and then it took us a little bit to get to that 10th run. But
yeah,
nice to see that. We'll see if I can try that again today. We did the Rays the other day and then the Red Sox, both great DFS plays. But got a question in the chat already. Are the Yankees still plays? The Yankees are still plays for me. I still like them at this number, especially again here at -109. Obviously, Aaron Judge has been ruled out already as well. That's why the line moved another 20, basically 20 cents. Open around -130, sitting around -110. But for me personally, the Yankees are still a play. But if you're not comfortable with it and you don't like that watered down lineup, I'm not going to fault you at all. I will tell you from a model perspective, it doesn't make a massive difference in this one because we had a pretty big edge from the beginning in my model, which is, again, a little weird to have model edge on the Yankees, but that's what I had this morning. So I don't know if Justin has any thoughts on it. But
well, I mean, if you really believe it, I think an interesting question is what the model move was for you compared to what we saw in the market, right? So did the model lose ground when the market moved, or did the model actually gain ground when the market moved?
It's about even, but the edge is still like, so right now the simulations make it -128 is where it's at. It's -110 in the market. Very close to where it kind of was in the model initially. So initially I had it -138 in the model when I was betting it at -120. Or -121 at that point. So it's very, very similar. The edge is almost identical to where it was before. So I think that the market is correctly valuing the lineup that they put out there versus what we were expecting. So I still have the edge on it. I'm comfortable with it. For full disclosure purposes, I have the Yankees at -130. I have them at -121 now, and I could potentially have them again if they fall to plus money in this spot if people continue to buy on the Rangers. This is an early afternoon start time, but usually I'm not the person to say something like this, but honestly, with the logic there, like when do you get the Yankees at even money? That's my question to
Right.
you,
No,
essentially.
you don't.
Against the
They're-
Texas
I mean,
Rangers, against Dane Dunning. So that's my
Right.
only
I mean,
comment.
if we look at how often they've even been underdogs, it's really not much. I think it's been 3 games this year. They've been the underdog 3 times. So and they have only won once and lost twice. But again, I'm not going to take the time to find out who that was against right now. My assumption is it probably was against a good pitcher or another good team, and it was a fair price. But anyway, quickly going over that game, some movement that is easily explained, right? Like we don't have to sit here and tell you why the Yankee line moved. Injury movement, sort of on to the next. We're only going to be here for about half an hour today. And then Mike and I are both on the afternoon edition of the Early Edge today. We'll be on for a whole hour talking whatever you guys want to talk. Definitely get some questions in. Talk about the night games for both the single NBA game. There should be a couple more baseball games left. There is a good amount at 7. So we'll probably just go over the games that are going to be played between now and then. And give some decent detail there, and then we'll have some more time to talk about the 7 p.m. game. So, Mike, what do you think about the Tampa Bay Baltimore game? I know that you have been loving lefties at this ballpark. Are you leaning over again? Are you buying the Tampa Bay Rays at this price? Where are you at?
Yeah, I like the Rays lefties in the lineup here. Rich Hill, I think that the thing that's concerning for me, and the reason why I probably don't have any edge on this game, is Baltimore's been pretty damn good against left-handed pitching. And it is a negative park shift, negative overall hitting environment in terms of the shift for Rich Hill. So I think this game is really appropriately priced. I do like the lefties. I do like Meadows, Choi, Lau, and Joey Wendell specifically for the Rays. I think this is a spot where if you wanted to, I think you could jump on the Rays first 5. At this price, it would be on the run line. I'd have to look and see what I can get that at. But that's probably the only real interest that I would have here.
It looks like that's at like minus 125 or so on the early run line, on the first half run line. So I tend to agree. Again, this is really not a play for me. I think if I had to go somewhere, I'd probably play the contrarian under if I had to. It looks like the sharp side. It feels like it's the right way to play this game. You've had more than 15 runs scored both games, and this is an early game. So you could see that trend of high-scoring night games lead into an under play for the early game here. I'm probably not going to touch it. I might go throw $5 on it right now because it's kind of fun, but that's nothing for my bet units. And I don't mean to sound boisterous, but it's not like a huge deal for me. So don't go with betting a full unit on this game. There's really not much on the bone for this one. So the other 12:35 game probably can sort of just brush over. I really couldn't make much of this. There's been almost no market movement. We're still at plus 130 on San Francisco. San Francisco's won all 4 games, but they're still favored. What's going on, Mike?
Yeah, I think that they're
all 3 games. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, I think that the Reds, we still expect this Reds offense to be a good offense, especially in this hitting environment. Negative park shift for the Giants pitchers every time too, where we expect them to get worse. Reds offense really hasn't performed at all in this spot. It is a relatively weak lineup for them. Obviously, Votto's still injured. Obviously, Mike Moustakas not in the lineup for them. Those are big hits to this offensive lineup, but I don't really have any interest in it. I think if you wanted to continue betting the dog here at plus 135, I'm not going to fault you at all. But the model expects the Reds offense to be better than they have recently, and the market obviously does as well. I'm showing a pretty healthy amount of action in terms of betting tickets on the Giants, over 50%, but we're tracking at least 65% of the money on the other side. I think
it's a good leave it alone. So all right. So those games are both already underway. You can't really bet them at anything other than a live line, and probably not recommended unless you get decent lines live. I don't. We just talked about New York and Texas. Mike is still taking the Yankees. even with the new price, and he might even take it again if he can get plus money, which is very interesting. All right, next game on the slate is going to be Washington and Chicago. So we've seen a minor movement here. Nothing has really shifted. We have Joe Ross and Trevor Williams. Mike, I know that you've talked about this one today. Where are you at?
Yeah, this is a pretty good overplay for me in this one. We've got humidity in the mid 50s to almost 60%, which is awesome considering the fact that it's 75 degrees and rising, going to be 80 degrees but late in this game. Wind blowing out at 12, and that wind is increasing throughout the game. Yeah. The hitting conditions are getting better throughout the game as pitchers get a little tired in this one. The only real concern for the over is Hayward's bat. I thought there was a scenario where we were going to lose Hayward and Rizzo for this game. Rizzo is back in the lineup. Hayward is out. Bryant is out. So it's a watered down lineup really on both sides, especially the bottom of that Nationals lineup, but watered down lineup on both sides. That's the only concern, but this is one day at Wrigley where it's one of those situations where I'm stunned that it didn't even open at 11, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
My number on it's 11.4 right now with the updated lineups. I like it a lot. I think it's a good overplay. Just a matter.
I think this is an interesting. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think this is a very interesting point to make where even with this watered down lineup that the market and the books all are aware of being played, we're still seeing this line, right? So what that tells me is that we're not the only people here talking about weather conditions. We're not the only people here who know that the wind matters. Right, if you told someone who really isn't aware of the actual correlation between these things, that Hayward was sitting, Rizzo was sitting, watered down lineups, they'd be like, oh, it's probably going to be at the normal line around 8.5, 9, and maybe even a little lower because I take the under if those guys are out. But you're seeing a 10.5 line, which is higher than it opened yesterday, which is higher than it has been opening, and the weather is a big part of that. So I'm with you on this one. I love the wind blowing out at Wrigley. Excited to see what happens at 2:00.
Yeah, definitely. I'll quickly mention on here, give a shout out and a plug. A lot of you, if you play Daily Fantasy, know of Kevin Roth on Twitter. He's developed something with Roto Grinders called his MLB Weather Edge. If you look at that, what he does is keeps a large database of weather information, and he will profile a certain day, similar to other games that have been played in I want to say it goes back 10 plus years, right? The weather conditions in Chicago are matching 82 current games at Wrigley Field. And in those 82 current games, and the projection for this one, we're looking at a 61% increase in home runs, 27% increase in total runs, and 27.4% increase in earned run average. With this weather profile based off today.
If you told me 10%, I'd be on it. That's park
conservatively 25% on all metrics. Yeah,
nuts. So let's. I can't wait for that game. That's a game you're excited to watch on TV. It's going to be an offensive powerhouse, hopefully. But all right, we got a couple more. We have Houston and Oakland. This is the close of this series. That's been very interesting. We had Houston drop the first game, but then dominated yesterday 8-1. Today, they are seeing the lefty Irvin. What are you making of this?
Yeah, I'm a little interested to see the VMI numbers on this one. They're a little lower than I was expecting because I'm forecasting something similar to the Cubs game in that we want the day game in Oakland. There's a massive difference in the way that this is going to play at 1:30 in the afternoon. There, I guess it'd be 12:30 in the afternoon in Oakland. Big difference there versus a 7 p.m. night game in that air. Wind blowing out. I think for me, it's also an overplay. I believe it's sitting at 8.5 right now.
Yeah, I mean, Houston looked good last night. We talked about that over. It was one of the plays that I took from the leans from the show and played them, and we were hot. So, I have a little house money to play with on that. I might do it again. I know that we've talked about lefties and Houston's supposed ability to hit them, talking about, a positive regression for them because it's lower than expected. It looks like the money's on Houston. It looks like there's money on the under, but I don't always trust money indicators from action. It's going to be an interesting game. I think a good way to play it is keeping it close and maybe taking the positive run line for the A's. Could be an interesting way to play it in a parlay, but I wouldn't pay the juice for that straight up. I'd probably take Houston on a money line. But again, I don't have any plays today. I didn't put anything on Sportsline. I didn't love anything. I might take another look at the late slate tonight, but I'm letting the afternoon games sort of start on their own and see what happens. You should never force a bet. There's no point. You're gonna probably lose it if you force it. So all right, one more little game here. We got Twins versus LA. This is the game we've maybe seen the most movement on without an injury reason. We've had 10 cents or so towards the Angels tonight. Where are you with this?
Yeah, 10 cents towards the Angels, and the total is starting to drop in this one here. If you look at the total, it is in some places it's about to that's just one line. Never mind.
It's a doubleheader. It's a doubleheader.
It could have hit. Okay, yeah, that's why then.
Yep.
That's actually why I don't have this game simulated.
That would make a lot of sense. So
it's not even in my feed. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, I think that 7 is a gift on that over, honestly. So here's my take on it. Baseball innings, when scoring is like going, it's not like the number of innings determines how big a rally is going to be. And so very often overs are hit by big scoring innings. Sometimes you'll see very consistent play of like 2 or 3 runs from a team if they're just beating up on a starter and a team sort of lets them in there and it's like, all right, we're not wasting our bullpen on this crap today. Just finish them off or give them what you got. But I don't see this game being like the best pitchers. Thorpe and Cobb have not. Wait, has this game been postponed?
It must have been because it's not in my schedule. I don't know what's going on with this, but I have not simulated this game. It is not in my schedule feed. I have no clue who's pitching, so I'm not.
I think you might have had a COVID issue.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look because I literally have no numbers on this game.
No, I see CBS Sports saying Mitch Garver not starting game 1. You know what? Let's just leave it alone. I think if it was playing normally, I don't hate an over 7 on a doubleheader. But I don't know. Is it postponed? This is a little weird. But all right, let's not worry about that one. I guess I'll give out a quick donkey of the day. Again, it's a short show today. We can't even use those first games. I think if you were really being smart and you're watching how this Yankee line is dropping, I'd wait to get the Yankees plus 1.5 in a parlay today. If you want a parlay leg that has a really nice shot of hitting, I don't see the Texas Rangers running away with this game if they win. I see it as a 1-run game. I see it as maybe like some home team walk-off scenario, which you are covered in a plus 1.5, unless it's like a home run. But barring a home run, you win in a walk-off scenario as an away team underdog run line. I know that's a lot of words, but it does make sense. I would. There's no heavy favorites today. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but the Braves are minus 200. They were minus 170 this morning, so you could have beaten the market there. Everyone's against the Pirates, but yeah, I put the Braves in there. I put the Dodgers in there. I'd probably give Boston plus 1.5. Get a really like heavy line in there. So we'll go with that. We'll take Yankees plus 1.5 if and when they get there. We'll take Atlanta. We'll take Boston plus 1.5, and we'll do the Dodgers again to win. And we'll see what happens. So there's your donkey of the day. I think
got a question in the chat. We'll start a favorite home run of the day. It's usually going to be someone I'm recommending in daily fantasy, but
I'll let you handle that. I'll do the donkey parlay. You can do the home runs.
Perfect. So I mean, for this game, it's obviously for me going to be Juan Soto or Trey Turner. It could be any one of the Nationals, but I'm going to take the road team. Give me the most projected plate appearances of any team in Major League Baseball today. We gave you some of the data on why and how great the hitting environment will be at Wrigley today. So if I had to, it would be there. After that, it's probably going to be I'll take Ronald Acuna. I think we see a leadoff home run from Ronald Acuna today against Crow. Other than that,
All right.
very short slate. The slate's all split, so it's kind of a messy day. We're going to cover a lot more. If you're not, all of you guys are probably aware of the Sportsline Early Edge, but if you're not, make sure you tune into that one. It's going to be me, Justin, Larry, and Coach. It's going to be a really fun stream. We're going to go at least an hour on that. So we'll cover the entire night slate in a lot more detail over there today. So
see you then.
Yeah, other than that, I think that's all we got for you guys today. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, though. We might do some other shows, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, get notified when we go live. The time we try to stick around, but it's going to be fluctuating a little bit going forward a bit. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you guys soon.